Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk about the personal inventory assignment for teen living. And with this assignment, the objective is for every student to be able to complete the inventory and relate it to your goals. And so we are looking for you to be able to self-reflect. Self-reflecting is a really important thing to do. It helps us grow as people. And if we don't self-reflect, it's hard for us to grow because we aren't looking at ourselves. We're not looking at what we're doing, how we're getting there, what do we like, what do we dislike. So this assignment is to give you some tools to be able to do that. And so there's a personal inventory that's created for you to answer and go through. And then there's some questions that you need to answer for the discussion board. And so the questions that need to be answered for the discussion board are, number one, what have you learned about yourself after completing the personal inventory? Number two, how can you apply this information to your life? And number three, how does it affect the goals that you have set for yourself? So the personal inventory looks like this, and it is broken up into different categories, and it has you go through and just answer these questions. Things that you like, things that you dislike, things that you think you're good at, things that you think that you're not good at. And just kind of go through and take an inventory of yourself. And some of these things you think about all the time, and some of these things you might not necessarily think about. And so once you've gone through and you've answered all these questions about you, you're going to answer these three questions. And where we see a lot of common mistakes is with this question one, what have you learned about yourself? And we see students putting nothing. I learned nothing about myself. And we all can learn something about ourselves. So yeah, we might already know all of these things about ourselves because we're talking about ourselves. So of course we know us. But look at it as, what is something that maybe I don't think about all the time? What is something that really could apply to what's going on in my life? What is something that I know about myself, but maybe I haven't really done anything with, or I haven't tried to grow in that area? And so look at it as a way to self-reflect, to be able to look at this information and figure out, how can it help me in the future? What's something that I can look at and learn about me? And so that's what question one is all about. And then question two and question three kind of go along together. Question two being, how can you apply this information to your life? And you can always apply this information to your life. And it might be stuff that we already know, but if I know that I am good at helping others and I am not good at math, and let's say I'm currently working at a store, then how can I apply this information? Is one, working with the customers and my coworkers is something that would come easy to me, and maybe I can try to grow in this one area because I see this one coworker doesn't like to communicate with other coworkers, so I'll try to make that person feel included. Or I could talk about, okay, I'm not good at math. Well, I work at a store. I need to count back change. I always rely on the cash register. So I'm going to apply this to my life because I'm going to try to work on that to be able to do it by myself. So maybe 1 out of 10 times I'm trying to do the math without looking at the cash register. So I can take these things that I've written down about myself and then think about the current things that I'm doing in my life right now and talk about, how can I apply this information to what's going on in my life right now? And then number three is, how does it affect the goals that you have set for yourself? So looking into the future, you could have some short-term goals and some long-term goals. Hopefully you have some of both. And how can this information affect those goals? And so it could affect those goals in a positive way. It could affect those goals in a negative way, that maybe I need to work a little bit harder. So let's say I said that I am not good at science, that science is a hard subject for me. It doesn't come easy. But one of my long-term goals is to become an engineer. Well, I can talk about, for question three, how does it affect my goal, is that I want to become an engineer. To become an engineer, I'm going to need to take a lot of science courses. and I feel like I'm not very good in my science courses. So how is this going to affect my goal? I could put something down like, I'm going to have to work a lot harder at these courses. I'm going to need to set up study sessions. I'm going to need to go talk to my professor and to be able to really be able to dig deep into this information and do well so that I can reach my goal of becoming an engineer. And so another example could be, let's say I relax by reading a book. And one of my goals is to be a writer. And so I could talk about, since one of my goals is to become a writer, and something that I like to do to relax is reading a book, that's going to really help me become a writer because I have read through so many different types of stories, different genres, and have lots of different storylines so that it will help me become that writer. And so you can just pick out a couple of these things and then apply them to those goals that you have set for yourself. And remember, this whole assignment is for you to be able to reflect on you, for you to be able to see where you're going, see where you've came from, and see where you currently are. And have learning some of those techniques on how to self-reflect, and then hopefully putting somewhere in your everyday life a place for you to be able to self-reflect so that we can make sure we're growing and we can make sure that we're reaching those goals for ourselves. So I hope this helped with this assignment, and thank you very much.